This is the video I wish I could have watched years ago when I was trying to learn everything I could about lightsabers. Today I'm going to be pretty much sharing with you guys everything I know about lightsabers, accessories, features. We'll be talking a little bit about the history of lightsabers, which are the best ones for spins and tricks. And I have tons of tips that you guys should know so you don't damage or break any of your favorite Jedi weapons. This is my Lightsabers for Beginners video. Come hang out, guys. Hey Star Wars fans, welcome to my channel. This is Finding the Force, where I cover everything Star Wars, including video games, theme parks, and especially lightsabers. Yeah, buddy! If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, guys. I'd really appreciate the support. Please click that like button, and it also really supports my channel if you click that arrow, the share button, and you could share my video on your social media or with friends. We've got so much to cover in this video, and I've been meaning to make this for a long time. A lot of you guys have sent me messages, left me comments, and finally I'm making it, sharing all my knowledge with you guys. And if I miss anything, I'll put it down in the comments, okay? All right, so I've broken this video into chapters like I always do, but of course it really helps me out if you watch the entire video. Really appreciate it. I know you guys have heard the story about being at Galaxy's Edge for opening day, buying my first metal lightsaber, and I was hooked. Let me tell you, people tell me they'll never pay more than like $100 or $200 for a lightsaber, but once you get one in your hands, you never, that sounds dirty. And I still enjoy it. I'm never going to get rid of this thing. And lightsabers are just like the most fun thing ever invented. You know, and holding your favorite Jedi character's weapon is just such a fun way to help enjoy the Star Wars movies, which is why so many of you guys love lightsabers. Why not start the video with the first lightsaber, the first real good lightsaber that was ever in retail stores, right? Because the first lightsaber ever for sale came out the year after A New Hope in 1978, and it was basically a flashlight with like a blow-up tube attached, and there was all these versions that came after that that were sort of hit and miss, but this bad boy came out 1996. Where's that box? And so many of you guys in the comments have totally geeked out and you know, got a blast from the past when they saw this Power of the Force box. My bad, 1995, Kenner made these, and these were the jam, let me tell you. I mean, but this is basically a glorified flashlight, kind of like the one all of your dads, or for all you dads out there have, has like 2C batteries stacked on top of each other, and this is called a telescoping blade. Boom! No swing sounds, lights up, you got some very short clash, but hey, you got like 2 clash effects. To younglings in the 90s or even today, these plastic telescoping sabers still keep my son super entertained, even with our crazy collection. So for all you parents out there, this is a great place to start. Maybe not the one from 1995, but I'll put a link down to this in the description. This is called the Scream Saber, and this will give your kids hours of fun outside away from you, because it gets annoying within like 30 seconds or so. But it's got tons of different sound effects. Wookiee saber. Super funny again for like a minute. And actually this telescoping blade doesn't go all the way down, which is cool because it's like super strong. So I'm a little embarrassed to say I've never built one of these telescoping lightsabers. In the Star Traders, they have this huge like kiosk with all these different parts. And you can build all your favorite characters' lightsabers with telescoping blades. They're plastic, super inexpensive. Leave a comment down below if you guys have built them and if you really enjoyed that. But these telescoping blade sabers, the lights can kind of vary in brightness. In the dark, it lights up actually pretty good. And my son has also had a great time with the Lightsaber Forge sabers, because you can buy a few different kits and put them all together and make your own from home. You know, no Disney parks required. And my son still crazy enjoys his like Darth Maul. It's got like horns and it's not canon at all, but he really has a lot of fun with it because their imaginations are on fire. You know, they don't need the super real stuff. That's for the big guys. In the past couple of years, Disney has really enhanced the plastic lightsabers because they have some fixed blades, which were, I think, my very first lightsaber that my son and I both got when he was just a little guy, like 2 or 3 years old or something, playing in the backyard. And those were fixed blades from Disney, and they have like a lot of features for only being like $30. So take this for example. Everyone always reaches for the Kylo Ren first. We've got blade flicker, crazy mean like fire sound effects. I mean, the blade's flickering. That's hard to find these days. Can you guys see that? There we go. And not only does it flash when it clashes, but it also vibrates in the hilt, if you're into that sort of thing. Great for cosplay, super light, great for costumes for Halloween, and the newer Disney Sabers, which is really started pumping out some new characters. They have a new Mace Windu, Rey Skywalker, got a new Kenobi. I actually shared with you guys my entire plastic lightsaber collection. I'll put that video up above here, okay guys? But these blades come out, it comes with a belt clip, and these are like super fun souvenirs. If you're going to the Disney parks and you have a youngling, the metal sabers can get pretty pricey. This is a great, man, they'll have so much fun with this. It'll totally make their trip. And they're only like $30. And you can find these in the stores, especially in Galaxy's Edge at Doc Ondar's Den of Antiquities. Locks into place. It's basically a plastic version of the Galaxy's Edge metal sabers you guys all know and love. And here's the crazy part is that the metal Disney sabers don't even flicker. There's only a couple that flicker, sort of a secret, not really talked about, but flickers, clashes, vibrates, full of features, awesome price. The one thing you definitely want to keep in mind with all your plastic lightsabers is don't forget about the batteries, the double and triple A's. If you leave them too long, or if you leave it in the hot garage, or you forget about it for over a year, you don't want the batteries to leak all over the springs and stuff. It could royally destroy your lightsaber. Let's take a minute to talk about the different components of the saber, some terms that you guys are going to want to know. Down here at the bottom, we have what's called the pommel with an O. I've been corrected on that in the past. Kind of embarrassing. Pommel down here. Oh, this is a CoverTech belt clip. Although these Force Effects sabers don't even come with belt clips, and they're not compatible with the actual CoverTech clips. So keep that in mind too. Not great for cosplay with these guys, okay? This has been called the booster or the lower grip. This sometimes is called the clamp, the activation ignition box. You know, this is the area that we're talking about here. Upper grip of the saber, the neck, and also the emitter with an E, emitter. Those are all the major components of the saber. Basics, good. Let's keep moving. So now let's talk about metal hilt lightsabers. I think the first ones that they ever made were from a company called Master Replicas. They actually made lightsaber replicas of the props in the movies, and they actually had sold lightsabers that turned on. They went out of business after a few years, like 2007-ish. Then Hasbro got their hands on those sabers, and we started getting Black Series sabers. And I actually have a collection over here on the wall, which, if you guys check them out, cosplay covers, Matt Fire First. Google those names and you might get eBay or Etsy or something, but he makes these custom blade covers. So it looks like it's always on, great for conventions and cosplay, super nice guy, huge Star Wars fan. So these Force Effects Black Series lightsabers, a lot of fans love collecting them. They have all the boxes stacked up. Came out about 2015, I believe, and it'll say at the bottom of the saber here, metal hilt, super fun. The blade is fixed. That's the one catch. So if you start play fighting with these lightly and one of the lights goes out, you're donezo, okay? You can't replace the blade. You have to get a whole new saber unless you're looking to convert it to Neopixel, which is a whole nother story. We'll get there in a little bit. They made these from every single character. They're hard to find. They're kind of more collector's items right now. I don't personally recommend them because you can find them a lot cheaper at Galaxy's Edge on Shop Disney website, or if they're not there from our special smuggler who can smuggle you anything out of Disney World or Galaxy's Edge. I believe it's Batu Smuggler 72 on Instagram. His name's Kevin. He's a great guy. Check him out, okay? But back to the Force Effects Black Series. And there's kind of a term you guys should know called corn cobbing. And no, this is not a food challenge on TikTok. You know, if you look closely, your eyes will catch just the smallest variation in brightness between the lights. So it kind of looks like corn on the cob where there's a dark space going up because there's really basic LED lights lighting up this blade. Cool flash sound effects, but the blade is not flashing, it's not flickering. But there is one thing that these have going for them. Check this out. I call it great swing sensitivity. So super fun to geek out with. Kind of generic sounds. All of the sabers sound basically the same with very tiny variations. They definitely don't sound like Vader's lightsaber from the movies, but that's Force effects for you. Had fun doing a lot of comparisons between Force effects and Galaxy's Edge with my son. All right, next for metal hilt lightsabers are the Star Wars Galaxy's Edge Legacy Lightsaber series, and this is the first metal hilt lightsaber I ever got. Luke Skywalker. Had to go with my gut. Great points to mention about these Legacy lightsabers is the more affordable price. These go between like around $150 to $200 for the hilts. Second best part of these sabers is that the blades are interchangeable. You can buy new ones. They have small, medium, and large lengths. And I still say that light play fighting is okay, but what happened with ours was that a wire got disconnected from the board electronics inside, so the blade would not light up anymore. So you're kind of running that risk. I have always been an advocate for enjoying your sabers and not just letting them sit on a shelf, not getting enjoyed until the time you do turn it on and it doesn't work. That would really be a shame, you know? All you Disney fans out there love collecting these Galaxy's Edge sabers. You know, they're officially licensed by Disney and Lucasfilm, actually less expensive than the Force FX Elite sabers, which I'm gonna get to in a minute. And one of the coolest things is that they all make really unique sounds. Every single saber, which is pretty awesome. Force FX still hasn't gotten that down yet. And as you can tell, you can swing, have fun with them. Sounds triggered, not really good on sensitivity. The only feature these really have are the clashes. But the ones from Savi's workshop, you can actually take out kyber crystals, put them in, and it gives you a different color blade and sound. So that's a lot of fun. Can actually take all the scrap metal, mix them up.
Congratulations, the bond is complete. Low.
So in case you guys bought every character saber in the Black Series, Hasbro decided to do it all over again with the Black Series Elite Sabers. Now, the troubling part about these is that the price is going up and up and up, and now they're creeping up to like almost $300. But they're a retail saber still, right? So if you wait for Black Fridays and holiday sales and stuff, you could probably catch this with a good price. Now, the Force FX Elite Sabers, biggest improvements is that they have enhanced LEDs. So they're definitely brighter than the Galaxy's Edge. Watch the blade scroll up here. Yeah, really smooth scroll, and they have a lot of blade features. One button, we got blaster deflect. There you go. Lock up. And if you point the blade down, you got tip drag. Pretty cool features, right? And this is, I think, my favorite. One of the downsides to these is that they're really, really sensitive with the swing. So just having fun swinging it around, a lot of the other models like the Leia, the Vader, will get triggered and trigger the clash effect, which really takes the fun out of it if you ask me. Clash. Can't forget about clash. And when it clashes, it's about in the middle of the blade. That white section lights up. There you go. And you can trigger it by just jostling the saber a little bit. I think there is some variability with the quality control of these sabers. So if it's not acting like this when you get it, you're going to want to think about returning it and exchanging it for another one. I know my Princess Leia Force FX Elite was a total hot mess, but I've heard from other people that theirs worked okay. Another cool feature is that this does come with a display upper half of the saber, and by removing this, and actually this is the thinnest neck I've seen, which holds a blade that's kind of this sort of retail price range. There you go, blade locks into place. And this one looks great, weathered, and looks just like his Kenobi series hilt. All right, now we're getting into the baselit RGB lightsabers, which I lovingly refer to as stick sabers. This particular hilt actually is the Sith version of Darth Revan's saber from Knights of the Old Republic. So again, these sabers have been called RGB, which stands for red, green, blue. They're baselit, meaning that there's a light in the base that's shining up through a hollow blade. These have also been called tri-cree because some of the older models had 3 small lights in here, red, green, and blue. And these stick sabers are perfect for tricks and spins. And the RGB sabers have these hollow blades, which are great for taking a beating and doing some more fun, heavy dueling. keep that in mind. And also, like, these are almost indestructible, but if something were to happen, to replace an empty blade is going to save you way, way more money than replacing a Neopixel blade, which we'll get to in a minute. And you guys want to check out, this is actually from Artsabers. It's like the Silver Revan. And I noticed right away that it had some enhanced abilities to it that my other RGB sabers don't, because it actually has a Xenopixel, an X RGB soundboard inside of here. Flicker's really cool like the movies. We got effects like blaster deflect. And it comes with an instruction manual, and you hold the button down for different blinks, which use up all the effects. So one blink has lockup. These do have smooth swing. Check this out. And because this is a Xenopixel RGB, you get accent swings. Listen to this. So moving it slow, smooth swing, right? Very perfect sensitivity. And if I swing it faster, you'll hear an accent swing. You hear that? Gives it that realistic sound to it. These are packed usually with 10 to 15 different sound fonts. Each one you can change all the colors of the rainbow, and you just press the button on exactly the right color that you want, so you can make it pink or teal. Yeah, putting the recharge port right in the front is super easy. I love that you don't have to take out batteries and stuff like that. Belt clip works. Sounds super loud, has a few different settings, including mute, which of course the Black Series and the Galaxy's Edge don't have that. This is a great, great buy if you want something brighter and with smooth swing that's more fun. This happens to be a character's lightsaber, but a lot of stick sabers have more simple designs to them, and they're not your favorite canon characters. But they do sell canon characters lightsabers in RGB if you wanted to save some money. Personally, I would say spend a little extra for the Neopixel because it's a lot more fun and has way more features to it. If you want to really do some play fighting with it, the empty blade baselet's the way to go. Here's something you guys should know is that these empty blades actually have a film inside that's reflective. So it helps distribute the light and make the blade look more even rather than being super bright at the base and kind of dim at the tip. Here you go. Can you guys see? There it is. Single light right in there. Super bright does the trick. And also it's crazy loud, so you can have fun with this at holidays, 4th of July. And these new X RGB sabers even have gesture controls. Oh yeah. And they do way more stuff, and all the instructions are in the instruction manual. All right, let's keep going. All right, guys, we're finally getting to the exciting topic of Neopixel lightsabers. Let's start from scratch, huh? Okay, so Neopixel is actually the name of a company, a specific company who makes the lights inside of the blade. And you'll see this signature connector right here. There we go, you got these rings. Usually there'll be a black spacing or something, but these rings mean Neopixel, that there are like 200 or 300 smaller lights inside of here rather than maybe like 30 or 50. So this thing can do anything you'd want it to do, right? You've seen rainbow, flickering, flame, and you can program it to do all kinds of stuff. Now, when it comes to inside your lightsaber, there's lots of different soundboards or computer chips inside that are telling it what to do. The most popular is Profi. My personal favorite as of today is still CFX, kind of harder to find. The more affordable one is Xenopixel, which just came out with a V3, and I'm just learning one called Golden Harvest. Let me talk about each one and some of the features, okay? So Profi is the most popular, and those things can do anything you want them to do, but if you want to change any of the blade effects on any of your profiles, you're going to need like 2 computer programs, a cable, and this whole system of how to do that. It's kind of complicated, but plenty of tutorials out there on how to do it on YouTube. So CFX is my personal favorite. Super easy to put the SD card in your computer, just like Xenopixel. Download a new sound font, you click and drag the file, you give it the correct name, and you're off and running. Whoever installed your saber put a whole bunch of different blade profiles. So you got sound fonts, and each font can be like Luke, Darth Vader, Darth Maul, Mace Windu, right? And so each sound font, you'll have a different blade profile. There's probably 5 kinds of flicker, a flame, a rainbow, that kind of stuff. But the CFX, you can change the blade profiles right in your hand. If you wanted to find just the right flicker, that matches the sound font that you have picked out. You can change the colors, the blade profiles, while it's in your hand, the volume and all that stuff. So with all these soundboards, there's usually two things at least that you can do, which is change the volume and the color of the blade while the saber's in your hand. But if you want to do more things like change the flickering to a flame blade, you cannot do that with Profi. You can only do that with soundboards like CFX and Golden Harvest and Neopixel. Now, Neopixel is a great budget soundboard, especially if you're more of a purist. It's very user-friendly. The one downside I don't like about Neopixel is it doesn't give you that really cool movie flicker that we all really love to see from the films. It has tons of other blade effects, and you can easily change the way the blade activates, and it has a whole bunch of choices for you guys. But the blade itself has like a breathing, and it has like a disco seizure mode. I mean, it's called unstable, but it's a very fast flash. It's like so intense. So there's not really like a simple blade flicker that you've seen on your favorite character's lightsabers. All right, guys, in this section, I'm going to quickly go over a lot of basic tips and pointers on how to use your Neopixel lightsabers. First, we have this Allen wrench or a tool, and you're going to insert this here, and there's usually 1, 2, or sometimes even 3 different retention screws to secure the blade. Almost every saber comes with a blade plug. Sometimes they're empty because the connectors have lights. This one is a Neopixel, which actually lights up. If the light is shining through a blade plug, don't look in it, okay? Not a good idea. Let's see what's under the hood here. Usually you unscrew the bottom half, and it's very, very normal and average to find a speaker at the very bottom. Some sabers will have a switch, a kill switch, cuts the power to the soundboard. So instead of a switch, and it's this little peg that you put right in there, and it helps conserve battery, and I believe it's also safe to remove the SD card from the sound card and not have to remove the battery, which is actually up here in the upper part of the saber in the center. Some of them have recharge ports. You gotta love those. I love recharge ports and not having to take the batteries out. Some sabers have 2 buttons. This is my power and my auxiliary. A lot of sabers are only single button activation, which is fine. Check out the instruction manual. It'll tell you all you need to know for how to operate it. All right, it's time to put the blade in. All right, here's a pro tip I want to share with you guys, to put a little bit of packing tape around the bottom of the blade, and that's going to definitely reduce wiggle and squeaking sounds. So you're going to take your blade, insert it into the hilt here very gently, and when you feel the pins, gently push down slightly, and we're going to tighten this retention screw. Don't tighten it too much, just like you feel the blade and go a little bit further. You don't want to just really wrench down on that thing or you're going to crack your blade. There we go, nice and snug, no wiggle sounds, and you're off and running, guys. Yes. Personally, when I'm done using my sabers, I do take the blades out because I don't really want to wear out the springs and the pins. And if possible, use the kill switch. I've heard that leaving the batteries in will drain the batteries, but you know, you don't want to make it too much work to enjoy your sabers, or you're going to be less inclined to want to turn them on and have fun with them, you know? The chrome sabers I like to wipe down after I use them, leaving fingerprints all over, but I like when they're kind of scuffed up a little bit. I don't really sweat it too much. So this is my very first Neopixel lightsaber ever, and actually the first time I held it, the weathering was coming off on my hands, and I had to put it right back in the mail and send it back. So it took me a while to get it, but this is actually my broken Skywalker saber from Galaxy's Edge that was converted now into more of a New Hope configuration. I totally love it. And I love the bubble strip. There's a 2-button activation switch, and the grips are like super sturdy. And this glass eye is actually how you tighten the blade into the upper half of the saber. So converted lightsabers, they're really hard to find people who are converting them. Mine actually has a crystal in here and also the bigger battery, 21700. This is called the chassis. And since this is a Disney saber, it doesn't come apart in the middle, so the chassis is actually connected with wires up here to where the connector is. Another thing you can hope for if you got a saber converted is that it should be a lot stronger. Installed it with this really heavy duty blade tube in here. So since it's got like a wider diameter than most of the other replica sabers, means that you can kind of bet that you're gonna get a bigger speaker, which means louder, more clear audio. Kind of only recommend you get if you're really emotionally tied to a saber. This was out of necessity because it was the pandemic and I actually couldn't get this fixed by Disney, but it was kind of a fun adventure to go on. Now let's talk about what I call some good mid-ranged lightsabers, which is what Artsabers is great for. I've been working with them for years, and these are great quality products that have really good, excellent accuracy, especially for the price. These are going to save you hundreds of dollars over the expensive replicas we're going to talk about in a minute. Not to mention, you'll get this in a matter of weeks, not months, which can happen when you deal with companies that sell more replica grade sabers. Wanted to quickly show you guys, here's the Mace Windu saber from Galaxy's Edge, and here's the Mace Windu from Artsabers. Look at how much more thinner and accurate that this saber is, and if you've only held retail sabers, you're in for a serious treat, guys. So like I said, there's a lot of advantages to Artsabers as a company. This is the new Luke Skywalker. I just reviewed this recently. I'll put a link up above. That comes with, this is an extended emitter, so you get 1 full inch of blade depth, which is my minimum if you guys have been watching my channel. Bam. Super loud, great function, your favorite character's design, and you're saving a lot of money and time. Another reason to consider Artsabers products is that they ship anywhere in the world. There's a 1-year warranty, and it comes with everything that you would need, like a blade, stand, instruction manual, charger, tool. Comes with everything. And I'll leave a link down to this lightsaber and the discount code down in the description. If you're gonna buy products that are similar to Artsabers, please guys be wary of companies that have just popped up, that have not been out for very long. It's really not worth it if you're only trying to save like 40 or 60 bucks, seriously. There's also a ton of companies that make totally custom, one-of-a-kind lightsabers. I still can't believe I did this, you guys. This saber made with actual scrap, like scavenged parts. I still can't believe I got this because it was a mystery saber. I have no idea what it would look like. Yes. But it's from Moon's Custom Armory, was working with a company called Divinium Customs. You're gonna wanna check them out. They have really, really high-end stuff. He does amazing work, very respected in the lightsaber community. And while we're talking about like individual custom sabers, I also have to show you guys my Obi-Dad Kenobi saber with resemblances to his episode 4 saber, of course, but I've got the extended emitter, no buttons on the side. I love that I use the bubble strip to activate and use the auxiliary. Now it's time to talk about replica Neopixel lightsabers. And right here, I have got 2 Anakin Skywalker episode 3 lightsabers. Can you guys tell me which one is more expensive replica and which one is the Artsabers? I know, almost impossible to tell, right? The way I can tell in my hands is that this one is a bit heavier. So this is actually the more replica one that probably costs like a couple $100 more. And this is the Artsabers, which I actually prefer because I like sabers on the lighter side. So when it comes to replica lightsabers, the category that I'm calling it, super higher end, you're talking $600, $800, even upwards of $1,000. This is actually a $1,000 replica lightsaber made by Vader's Vault. And actually they pride themselves on being the most accurate Luke Skywalker hero lightsaber, including the pommel, the activation box, even the parts that were used. Luke's actual lightsaber from the movie, these rings, his hero saber, are uneven. And of course he doesn't have an extended emitter like I do. So I actually wanted this upper half, which completely can unscrew, and you can actually purchase a separate, more screen accurate upper half of the entire saber. But the other reason why the saber costs so much is because Vader Sabers makes all of their products in America. Amazing products, even though they're on the higher end of the price scale. So 2 options you have are that you can buy the saber installed from a company most of the time, or you can buy it empty from one company and then find an installer. 2 installers that I personally use and recommend, that's Scrap That Works, and Kessel Custom Sabers is finally back in business. So those 2 guys I highly recommend, do excellent work, very experienced. But again, the downside to replica sabers is that you spent so much money on this. Are you really gonna take it down off the shelf? Are you really gonna play fight with your younglings? You know, I'm all about enjoying my sabers and especially enjoying my younglings while they're little and they still wanna play fight with dad, you know what I mean? So they're more expensive, and if you order them, if they're not ready to ship, you could be waiting months for them. Like my Kylo Ren saber, I waited like 6 months. I have a Rey saber that waited 5 months. Even great installers need time to install and get parts and stuff, so that can take a few months. So you're doing a lot more waiting for the replicas for sure. They're not going to be as strong or as friendly to dueling and play fighting. If you guys watched to the end, thank you. Thank you so much for joining me and watching this extremely long video. It took a ton of work to edit and make it fun for you guys, so I appreciate you. So until next time, guys, please take care, be safe, and have an awesome Star Wars day. Yeah! Woo!